All right, Rabbi, say good morning. Good morning. Let us continue. We are in Os Vav in Tzidkas HaTzaddik. And yesterday, the Rebbe really began a very beautiful, beautiful piece where essentially he's taking the section from the Gemara, where the Gemara details how a person wakes up. What should a person do upon awakening in the morning? So the Gemara gave a list. And the Gemara specifically said, if a person wants to begin his day with Kabbalah's Ol Malchus Shemayim, a person wants to begin his day with the acceptance of the yoke of heaven, what should he do? So the Gemara lays out a list. Yifna, a person should, literally translated, relieve himself. Yital Yadav, wash his hands. Yaniach, tefillin, put on tefillin. Vikra, Kriya Shema, say Shema, V'yispalo. And then Daven Shmona Esrei. If a person does all of these things, he'll be able to begin his day with Kabbalah's Ol Malchus Shemayim. So yesterday, the Rebbe detailed that Yifna doesn't simply mean to go ahead and relieve oneself, but rather, what does Yifna mean? Yifna means to try to turn away from excess, from really, whereas one is not only permitted, but encouraged to enjoy the material world in a responsible way. We have to be so careful to avoid the things that are excess, to avoid the things that are unnecessary, because those are the things that drag us down, and those are the things that distract us from accomplishing our life mission. Okay, next, we're on page Yud Beis, was Netilas Yadayim. We're seeing the Be'orei Chasidus where it says Beis. So what does it mean? Washing our hands. So the Rebbe says, V'notal Yadav, Milvad Pshuto, Dahainu L'tar Es Yadayim Mikol Zuma V'tumo. So obviously, there's a Pashat level. Right? We wake up in the morning, and there's an obligation of washing our hands, Netilas Yadayim. Now remember, again, we did this in Kesar Shulchan Aruch Yomi not so long ago, that there are two reasons why we do hand washing. So number one is because, again, there is a Ruach Tumah, there's a spirit of impurity that rests upon the body when a person goes to sleep. That's related to the death motif of sleep. So we wash that away. And also because that over the course of the night, the person may touch covered parts of the body. Therefore, again, there's an uncleanliness. And really, there's a third idea also, that in the morning, when a person wakes up, they're a Bria Chadasha. They're a brand new creation. And because they're a brand new creation, they kind of like inaugurate that newness with a washing. So aside from all of that, he says, Yesh kam levaro, the inyan nikayon halev. There's an element of washing one's hands that really is rooted in the concept of the cleansing of the heart. What does that mean? Apish mashe shamati miro mori v'Rabbi Arav HaKadosh me'Ishbitza. The Rebbe of Reb Tzaddik Kohen of Lublin was the Rebbe of Ishbitz. What did the Ishbitzer say? Shebechol makom batorah shemofia inyan zeh shel remizas v'chitzas yadayim. So any place, so the Ishbitzer said like this, any place where we find the concept of hand washing. For example, Kigon, Rechitzas haklonim es yedeim me'akiyor b'mikdash, or rechitzas zikne amesdeim be'egla arufa. So he brings two examples where we see hand washing. So first of all, every morning when the Kohen comes to the Beis HaMikdash, he reports for duty in the Beis HaMikdash. What does he have to do? He goes over to the Kiyar, which was that large basin, and he would wash his hands. Now, granted, in the Beis HaMikdash, remember again, it's rechitzas yadayim viraglayim. He washes his hands and his feet. But again, for our purposes, Kohen comes to the Beis HaMikdash, first order of business is to wash his hands. Now, what's the other example of this, interestingly enough, is Egla Rufa. What's Egla Rufa? You find someone murdered. And we don't know who the murderer was. So remember again, what's the halacha? You measure the distance between the corpse and the closest city. The elders of that city come out. They take a young calf. They break its neck. They wash its hands. They wash their hands over the calf, saying Yadenu lo shafchu dam zeh. Our hands have literally again. They really know the expression of washing your hands of something. That comes from the Torah. That comes from Egla Arufa, right? They wash their hands of responsibility. We had nothing to do with this. We were not involved in this. So the Ishbitzer says something amazing. He says, you see something about the nature of hand washing. He says, he romezes asiluk nigiyos ha'adam ve'inyan hahu shemachmasu notal yadav. See from here that not only does washing your hands have an element of purity and cleanliness, but it also has a concept of, so to speak, washing your hands from personal involvement. Now, what does this mean? So in Egla Rufa, like we just mentioned, it makes sense. They're washing their hands of responsibility. We were not involved in this. We had nothing to do. Now, of course, the Gemara says, did we suspect that the elders had something to do with the murder of this individual? No. So the Gemara Sota says, what they're saying was, it's not the pshat. In other words, we didn't come across this guy and not offer him hospitality, and that's why he's all on his own. So the idea over here is they're washing their hands of blame. We didn't have anything to do somehow that contributed to his premature demise. When a Kohen goes into the Beis Hamikdash, so what does it mean when he washes his hands? When a Kohen, what does that mean? This is incredible. We'll say being a Kohen is a big thing. And it is easy to imagine that it could go to your head and become an ego-driven exercise. So what happens? A Kohen goes into the Beis Hamikdash in the morning, and what does he do? He washes his hands. What is he washing? He's washing away the semblance of self and highlighting the idea that, why am I here? Why am I here? This is not about me. I will say, sometimes one of the hardest things in any form of avodas hakodesh, right? Anytime, sometimes even our service to Baruch Hu, is the ego gets wrapped up in it. It's fascinating, right? Now again, better to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu from ego than not to serve him at all, that's for sure. But that's not the highest level. The highest level is to serve God for the sake of God. So when the Kohen comes into the Beis Hamikdash, what he does is he washes his hands, almost washing away this semblance of ego. I'm not here because of me. I'm not here because, in other words, I'm not here to serve me. I'm not here to fuel my own ego. I'm here for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So incredible. He goes on, he says, he romezes al siluk negios ha'adam be'inyan hahu shemachmasu notal yadav v'kamokein b'fnei kabbalas omachu shemayim shlema yesh li adam l'sagis kavanoso mikol negia atzmis. So what said, this is incredible. Says Rabbi HaTzaddik, when the Shulchan Aruch says, so after Nifneh in the morning, what's next? Netilas Yadayim. He will say, what does it mean to start your day with Netilas Yadayim, with washing your hands? It means, tell yourself that this is going to be the kind of day where I'm going to do what I'm going to do for HaKadosh Baruch Hu and not to serve my ego. Not to serve my ego. In other words, say, to kind of have an orientation of leading a selfless, God-driven life. Right? This is, this whole idea of the Shulchan Aruch begins with the concept of Shivisi Hashem lenegdi samid. Da lifnei mi ata omed. The idea is, in life, I should be doing things for HaKadosh Baruch Hu and not for me. I want to be clear. Of course, we all do things for ourselves. I don't mean it like that. Like, we have to take care of ourselves. We should try to contribute to our own personal happiness. But what I mean is, sometimes in life, a person's life becomes all about doing things that fuel their ego, that fuel their sense of self. And that's dangerous, because when life becomes about the self, then essentially I'm serving or I'm worshiping me. I'm not worshiping HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It is so important as we go throughout life, says Rabbi HaTzaddik, to make sure that when I'm doing things for the right purpose, for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And he says that's symbolized in the Netilas Yadayim. When I wash my hands in the morning, what I'm doing is I'm washing away ego. I'm washing away ego. The same way that by Egla Rufa, the elders wash away personal involvement. The same way the Kohen shows up at the Beis Hamikdash, and he washes away. I'm not here for me, but I'm here for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every morning with Netilas Yadayim, I wash away that sense of ego in order to highlight that this is going to be a day of service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's so beautiful. He goes on, he says, "V'yesh lomar ol dromes inyan Netilas Yadayim al rachitza haruchamis ruchnis dahainu linakos es atzmo mimash shekvar nislach lechu klei hamaisa im nichshal ha'adam kvar v'nitma bo koach ha'pula sheikaru biyadayim me'osam hatinofes mimash." I'm just going to read and then we'll translate. "Mimash nana min ha'olam hazeh shelo l'shem shamayim az yirchatzei miluchluch zeh b'mei hadas." So let's listen to this. It's also quite beautiful. So first element of the Netilas Yadayim set. So there's really three elements. First is Netilas Yadayim, as we know Netilas Yadayim. Just with all of its, right, the basic halacha of Netilas Yadayim, with its three elements that we began this year with. Then there's an additional piece of Netilas Yadayim, says the Rebbe, which is washing away ego. Washing away ego. I don't want today to be about my ego. And I don't want it to be about what I want, what I need to fuel my sense of self. I want to live for some higher purpose. I want my actions to be directed towards some higher purpose. And then I will say lastly, it's been incredible, lastly, it's washing away mistakes. The test I purpose is washing away mistakes of life. The idea is that often we make mistakes, or all the time we make mistakes, and those mistakes often, they're metame, different parts of who and what I am. And I will say, it's incredible, a lot of times in life, when we begin a new day, deep down, I don't really feel like it's a new day. Why not? Because I feel like I come today with what? With the baggage of yesterday, and the baggage of the day before, and the baggage of the day before that. So I don't really believe in this concept of the new start of a new day. So it says the Rebbe, what do we do every single morning? We go ahead and we wash our hands. As if to symbolize, it's a new day. I'm washing away everything that was, and I'm starting with something new. Such an incredible idea. And interestingly enough, he adds on with this, we'll have to stop. He adds on, and what do we wash with? We wash with water. Water, of course, symbolizes many things, amongst them, Torah. That one of the most incredible and beautiful ways in which to give yourself a new start, one of the most incredibly and beautiful ways in which to wash away the mistakes of the past, clean the slate, and begin anew, is with the beautiful, translucent, spiritually restorative waters of Torah. So says the Piages, no, I'm sorry, says Reb Tzaddik. There's a lot of Rebbes in our life, Baruch Hashem. Right? Says Reb Tzaddik, the beautiful symbolism here of Netilas Yadayim. So we have the halachic part of Netilas Yadayim, then again the hashkafic parts of Netilas Yadayim. Part one, washing away the self, washing away the ego, and making my life about doing things for a higher purpose, and washing away the mistakes of the past in order to give myself a truly new start of today. All right, to both say, Shkoyach, we'll stop over here for today. Incredible.